Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Jennings, and today we're going to be doing a Blu Ray update video. A video that I haven't done in 6 months. The last time I did one of these was back in February, where I went through my entire collection. At the time I had around 300 Blu-rays. Now I have over 420, so that's a lot. And we're going to take a look at all the movies that I picked up ever since February. That includes Blu-rays and DVDs. So, let's take a look. And we got plenty to talk about. So first, let's start with the DVDs. First up, Truth or Dare, the unrated cut. The only reason why I have this is because it's a meme, and also the fact that I'm doing a review on this movie in October. So I need footage, and it's a lot of footage to go through, so there's that. So, yeah, that movie sucks. And I'll explain why it sucks later on, but as most of you may know, I'm a huge fan of Red Dwarf, and I finally got the Back to Earth special. It's a very meta special, but it takes its influence from one of its famous episodes. I won't tell you which one because it would spoil the entire show, but let's just say has a lot to do with Blade Runner. So, there's that. And then, my final DVDs at least, is the Darkwing Duck Volume 1, Volume 2. They don't have a Volume 3, which is upsetting because there's a lot of episodes that they missed out on putting into this collection. I like this show. I really do. It's one of my favorite childhood shows that I grew up watching as a kid. And it's good. It's a good show. Alright. Let's get into the Blu-rays, and I have a ton, a metric fuck ton of them. Some of them have recently even come in for releases that are for tomorrow, August 14th. So today is August 13th. So first up, 50 First Dates. I recently saw this, and it's a pretty interesting, pretty funny romantic comedy about memory loss, and it's actually cute. It's a cute Adam Sandler movie. And at times, yeah, it gets on my nerves, but it's not that bad. Adaptation. If you're into screenwriting, this is definitely a film for you. It's a very meta piece of work, and I won't go into description of what it is, because some of the best reactions I had was just me watching it. Don't look up anything about this movie other than the fact that Nicolas Cage is in it, and it's Charlie Kaufman who did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Synecdoche, New York. So, yeah, go into this movie with a fresh mind, because it's actually really, really good. Hold on a second. Next up, American Psycho. Let me see if I'm actually focused in. It's kind of... There we go, that's better. American Psycho. It's okay. I think it's a little bit overrated. Annie. I like the musical. I don't like that remake or the 90s take. I just like the original. There's just too much memories behind it. Batman Gotham by Gaslight. A pretty interesting telling of the Batman mythos in the Victorian era. I really enjoyed it. Batman Ninja. A weird Batman anime film that could be its own television show. I really want this to be a television show, but I don't think it will. But yeah, if you're into goofy, over-the-top zaniness, this is your film. The Joker, however, is trying to be Mark Hamill for some reason, and it just doesn't work. It's not even Mark Hamill. It's like some guy who tries to voice copy him. A Beautiful Mind, a film by Ron Howard. That's all I can say. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, a pretty good film. Blade. Blade was one of those films back when Spider-Man and the X-Men were having their golden age with the Sam Raimi trilogy and the first two X-Men films. Blade was that outsider, R-rated Marvel film. And people keep saying, like, oh, well, Deadpool's the first R-rated, Marvel film. It's not. The Breakfast Club Criterion Collection, I've decided to actually upgrade it to a Criterion Collection because there's actually a sale at Barnes & Noble where you can get these at like 50% off. So this I got for $20 instead of $40, which is crazy. It's a crazy price, and I'm really grateful for this because this has a lot of bonus features that I really wanted to look up. So, The Bridge on the River Kwai. I bought this because I was doing research for a script I was writing. I'm still writing it. I'm finishing up the first draft, but it's going to take a while to get to the market. So, Casablanca, a classic early age filmmaking. It's really great. Humphrey Bogart's in it. Casper. Casper's a film. It has some nice special effects, I'll give it that. I watch it every Halloween. Children of Men, or as some people like to say, the precursor to Logan. Yeah, Logan and Children of Men have basically the same plot, somewhat, except for a few elements kind of squidged out or anything else, but Children of Men was a class assignment in college, and I watched it, and it's really good. It's a really good Alfonso Cuarón film. He did Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban. Next up, Chinatown. Even if you don't like Roman Polanski, and granted, I don't like Roman Polanski as a person because, his rape allegations were very through the roof, and he's kind of been taken out of the Academy as of late, and that's pretty good, I guess. But you have to admit, the work he made on Chinatown was pretty good for the influence of neo-noir. It's a very great film. It has some elements that are risque, right? But I still enjoy it. There's a lot of elements I really enjoy. So there's that. From a screenwriting perspective. A childhood classic, and I used to read the books in elementary school. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This is a very fun kids' adventure film, and I really dig it. It's one of the best, if not the best, children's movie from the early 2000s. It's really great. It has some problems, but it's great. Cloverfield. It's okay. 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's very good. Coco. I got this. I don't know why this is a 2-disc Blu-ray, 1-disc DVD. They keep separating the feature from the actual bonus features, and it kind of makes me mad because you take up more space than not. Like, you could just put all the bonus features on the one disc. It's easy, but apparently they don't want to do that. Constantine, a very underrated comic book film, but it's not that great. It's still enjoyable, but it has some elements that don't work. The Crow, I haven't yet seen this, but this is Brandon Lee's last film, and apparently they've been trying to reboot it for a long time, and it just hasn't worked out. And I'm glad it's not working out. Demolition Man, a film that holds relevance today as much as it did back then, and it's also a corny, over-the-top examination of, action films. Because why not? The Disaster Artist. I have been reading the book, and I know there's not a lot of, I know as an adaptation it's not very good, but as a movie, like because I watched the movie first and then I read the book. The movie itself actually captures the sort of sentiment that a lot of filmmakers have. It's just this drive, this passion to make something, make a movie. And that's what a lot of filmmakers have, is that passion to make a movie. And even if the film wasn't that good, right? I mean, The Room is notorious for being the worst movie of all time. It still goes without saying that these guys managed to do what most people couldn't, and that's actually make a movie. Even if it wasn't very good, and it's like one of the most quoted bad movies of all time. And I like that. I like that whole message. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. personally, my favorite Charlie Kaufman film. It's the best. It's a nice love story about losing memories, and it poses a lot of questions about relationships in terms of relationships to technology. Definitely check this out. I really enjoy it. It's a very great love psychological film. I love it. The Evil Dead trilogy. All 3 Evil Dead films in one box from Studio Canal. I haven't yet watched all these on this particular format. It may be shit, but who knows. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I actually got this in a box set with Isle of Dogs, which is later on in this list. But Fantastic Mr. Fox goes without saying. It's fantastic. It's fantastic animation, good story, good characters. It's a nice children's film. The Florida Project. Not a kid's film. I've already talked about this movie ad nauseum in other films, or in other reviews / best lists of 2017. But The Florida Project is one of my favorite films, purely from a critical perspective and from a certain other perspective. So I have a second pile. Forrest Gump. I recently picked this up. I know it's like, oh, well, how could you not have Forrest Gump at this point? It's like, well, now I do, so whatever. Full Metal Jacket. Rest in peace, R. Lee Ermey, right? You know, good old drill sergeant. Galaxy Quest, a great film that examines fan culture in a sense, and they haven't really made one of these for things like Star Wars. This was purely something that was kind of a mock-up of Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, those types of shows. It's a really funny comedy, and I enjoy it. It's not the best comedy in the world, but I enjoy it. It's very enjoyable. During the Amazon Prime week, they had some pretty good specials on Blu-rays, and one of them was the Harry Potter film collection. I got this for $29. $29 out of a set that you can get at Walmart for about $70 or $60. It's very good. It's a very good job. So now I have all the Harry Potter films, so I can watch them before the new Fantastic Beasts film. The Hateful Eight. I used to have a copy of this, and then I sold it, and now I have another copy of it. So there's that. I really enjoy this film. My folks don't like it because, oh, it's not a Western, it's just Tarantino being a dickhead. It's like, whatever, bro. It's not his best, I will admit. It's not his best film. Next up, Hellboy. Hellboy is a good film. I don't like the sequel, but it's really good. Home Alone, a classic for Christmas. My folks don't like it because apparently to them it enforces the fact that you know, you should let your kids stay at home and be complete douchebags to people breaking into a house. It doesn't. It's just a hypothetical situation. It's not meant to portray reality in any sense. It's a cartoon. The movie's a cartoon. So, and I enjoy it for that. It's a cartoon movie. I Am Legend. I Am Legend is a good film if you watch the alternate ending. The original ending that was put into theaters sucks. Huge amounts of cock. But again, if you watch the alternate ending version, it's good. Insomnia. I have not watched this yet. I know it's a Christopher Nolan film. I know that I know it has Robin Williams in it, and I haven't yet checked it out. I need to check it out. I checked out 1 Hour Photo recently, and that was a very creepy film. Very, very, very creepy. Isle of Dogs. I love dogs. I love them. The original Stephen King's It. As bad as it is, I am still willing to watch it. It's just one of those things I watch. It's corny as hell. It makes no fucking sense half of the time, but it has Tim Curry, and the first half of the movie is genuinely okay. I don't like the second half. It's just terrible. I was trying to wait for a director's cut of this particular film, but it's been announced, right? It's been announced, but it's never come out. There has been no specific release date. As far as Blu-ray.com goes, it actually says it's being released in October, which is nice, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the actual director's cut or just some reissue, but I decided to cave in and buy Stephen King's It. It's, again, this is a haunted house film. I really like it. I decided at one point to get the Jurassic Park 25th Anniversary Collection. I know they're doing a reissue of this particular thing when The Fallen Kingdom comes out later this year, but I don't want to get rid of this particular one because it's the 25th Anniversary edition of Jurassic Park and every single other film that's in the franchise up through Jurassic World. Again, I like this collection. I like the digibook, and I'm going to keep this one. So there's that. The Karate Kid, a staple of 80s cheese. It's a very cheesy 80s film, and I enjoy it. Not as much as Kung Fury. Knocked Up, a film about a comedy about premature adulthood. Let's just say that. During my time, I've actually gotten a couple new Disney Signature collections, and this is the first one, Lady and the Tramp. I find this movie okay. It's not the best, right? It's not the best Disney film to be put into a Signature collection, but I found it enjoyable. It's an enjoyable piece of children's entertainment. I find it okay, although those Siamese cats can go to hell. They kind of creep me out. Thor Ragnarok. I got this in the mail months ago. I'm actually going to be selling off this and Black Panther for a 4K edition, just because I want to try to update my collection to 4K. And there's been a lot of titles so far that have been put into 4K, so yeah. So I'm selling that, as well as my copy of Black Panther, just to get the 4K editions of these two films. But I still have them in my collection, so there's that. And this actually came in the mail about 30 minutes ago, and that was Avengers Infinity War. Oh boy, I have been excited to get my hands on this and rub them all over to the box and sniff it, you know. But yeah, so yeah, with this is my first actual 4K copy of a Marvel film. So that's why I'm starting to update my collection, because I just want all of them to be 4K at some point. So that means I'm also selling my Avengers 1 and 2, because those are getting 4K upgrades tomorrow. So that's going to be great. So, yeah, I'm actually excited to watch this. And I ordered this through Disney Movie Club, so I also got the lithograph with Thor and Rocket Raccoon and all that. Memento, a very good Christopher Nolan film. It's one of his first films. Miracle on 34th Street, a very classic Christmas Carol movie. Not the remake, the original. Mirror Mask, a very weird Neil Gaiman film that at some point I might do a video on, but I'm not entirely sure if I still want to. There's not a lot to really talk about with this film. It's just weird. It's just a weird movie with weird visual effects and production design. Moon, one of the best films from Duncan Jones. However, ever since then he's kind of gone downhill. But what do I know, right? I'm not Duncan Jones. Dun 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 dun. I already gave it away. It's Mortal Kombat. A very cheesy video game movie that I love. And A Nightmare on Elm Street, the collection. I bought this for $25. For 7 films, that's a pretty good good price for movies. So moving on to my final stack. Gotta bring it around, actually. Pacific Rim Uprising. Not my first choice to buy, but my grandma bought this, and so it's now part of my collection. I have both of the Pacific Rim films. So there's that. However, if you want a good Guillermo del Toro movie, Pan's Labyrinth, Criterion Collection. Very good film. Very, very good. Another Disney Movie Club film, Peter Pan. Recently with James Gunn's firing and whatnot, you know, this is a film that has some very racy stuff. Care to explain why this is a signature edition, Disney? Just saying. The Philadelphia Story, a very good love comedy, romantic comedy film with James Stewart and Cary Grant and fucking Katharine Hepburn. I was gonna say Audrey Hepburn, but no, that's wrong. Rain Man. Classic Tom Cruise film, I guess. Ratatouille. Ratatouille is a very fun, engaging, and great Brad Bird film. I'm surprised that a lot of people consider The Incredibles better than Ratatouille, because Ratatouille to me is a little bit better, but I get why The Incredibles is such a big deal. I like The Incredibles, I really do. I think Ratatouille is a little bit better in terms of some things. I was going to buy the Blu Ray to this, but I ended up buying the 4K because I bought it because of the cover. The cover is much better on the 4K than it is the Blu Ray, and that's Ready Player One. Ready Player One is one of those films that I like. It's not a film that's a masterpiece. It's kind of bad in some areas, but the concept is cool, I guess. It's a very fun little film, and I like the amount of changes it took, the amount of liberties it took with the source material, because the book itself is kind of annoying. I have to be honest. The book itself is a bit obnoxious in a lot of areas, and I'm glad they toned down a lot of that for this movie, and I'm glad that they changed a lot of it to fit a better narrative, even if the narrative at times doesn't make any sense. Robin Hood Men in Tights, a very good Mel Brooks comedy. I was going to say Mel Blanc, but that's Bugs Bunny. The Rocketeer. If you ever want to see wanted to see Timothy Dalton as a Nazi that wants to fly around in a jetpack and there's zeppelins, then this is your movie. And this is a Disney movie. That's funny. Saving Mr. Banks, Saving Private Ryan. I like this steelbook. I really do. It's not the 4K. I don't bother with the 4K for this because it's basically the same steelbook. And I like the fact that it's kind of shaped like an ammo tin, like the whole design cover. I really do enjoy that. I love that detail. Schindler's List. I will get around to watching this because I haven't seen it and I'm going to watch it. Just give me some time. Give me some time. The Shape of Water. I got this as a birthday present from my folks, and it's definitely one of my favorite films from 2017. It's not perfect, but it goes back to Guillermo del Toro's sense of fairy tale, and I really enjoy it for that aspect. So there's that. Scoot these down here. Sicario. As of now, I still haven't seen the. I haven't seen Soldado, but Sicario is a very good film with some great cinematography by Richard Jenkins, or not Richard Jenkins. Fuck, did I get it right? Roger Deakins. I don't know where I got Richard Jenkins. Roger Deakins is a great cinematographer on this. Very beautiful shot. It's not Denis Villeneuve's best film, but it's a really good thriller. The Sound of Music, a movie musical That's pretty good. Okay, here comes the most controversial film from last year, Star Wars The Last Jedi. I bought it because I wanted to give it a second chance, because initially I was very middle of the road, but now I kind of have more of appreciation for it. It's not as good as the other films, right? But there's a lot of elements I truly appreciate about the film in my own way. And I know a lot of people don't like this film. They find this film very polarizing. I get that. But I think at this point we kind of need to move on. We need to move on from this movie and Solo. We just need to move on. I might do a video on Lucasfilm and what they should do next, but who knows. I personally think they need to, and once they get done with this new trilogy, they need to move their efforts away from Star Wars movies and move closer to making new content IPs. Kind of like how Pixar does the same thing. They make new IPs every other year. So they need to make some new IPs. Because all they rely on at this point is Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and that's it. Princess Mononoke, a very good Hayao Miyazaki animated film. Some people say it's their best. Some say it's his best, but I'm not entirely sure. Superman the movie. Superman's a great movie, and I hear they're making a 4K restoration of this movie later this year. Who knows, but it would be nice to get it this year or next year, just to fit in with the 40th anniversary. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. A very violent film, but it's also a very good film. It does make you... it's a film that also tries to humanize people who are complete racist assholes. But I think that's the point, you know. If we try to be violent towards everything, it's just going to beget more violence. So why not try to forgive people, even if they have been wrong in doing it? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading the film a bit too closely, but I really enjoy this film. Great performances, good dialogue. There isn't a lot that I don't like about this film, other than the CGI is kind of bad in certain areas. With the deer, especially. The deer felt CGI to me. Or maybe that's how it was shot. I don't know. Toy Story, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3. I found all 3 of these at CD Game Exchange back in Eugene when I used to live there. And I finally got all 3 of them back. I sold, as you know from last time I did this, I sold off my box set of Toy Story films that were foreign imports, and I finally got all 3 of them that were made in America, so that's great. Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is a very fun Michael Dougherty Halloween film. It's a nice Halloween anthology film, and I truly appreciate what it does, even if half the time it's kind of over the top. The original Tron. Tron is good, although it is really, really dated. It's really dated. But for advancements in CG technology, it is the precursor to a lot of, you know, visual effects that we would later see in, like, Tron Legacy and whatnot. Unbreakable. Anyone see that new trailer for Glass? I did. I'm excited for Glass. And Unbreakable, I hadn't seen it before, and I bought the movie, and I watched it, and it's actually really good. It plays really well in today's culture. It's really fun. I actually had a discussion about this film with a friend of mine and a relative of mine, and he didn't like it. He still doesn't like it, but I like it. It's probably Shyamalan's best film, in my opinion. X-Men First Class, the only other X-Men film I like besides Logan. Days of Future Past was a bit overrated, but I found it okay. And last but not least, Zombieland. Zombieland is getting a sequel, and I'm excited because Zombieland is good, it's funny, and it's very insightful. It's very good comedy. And there you have it, the Blu-ray update video. All my Blu-rays have just been updated, and I won't be doing one of these like this again. So now every month I'm going to be doing a new video starting next month. Just do monthly videos of the Blu-ray pickups instead of just every 6 months, because this is so much shit, and I might get more shit. So it's whatever. So until the next video. Until my next reviews, I'll see you next time. Peace.